Yo, 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 what is up, everybody? This is Colin back at it with episode 4 of A Different Direction, the podcast where I talk about pretty much everything that goes through my mind and just have random discussions with y'all and set the vibe, and we just kind of chill out and have a good time. Uh, this is the fourth episode here, and I'm recording it on a nice rainy night here, a little after midnight, almost 1 a.m. now. Um, so definitely a late night sort of vibe. Got my LED lights going. So we're definitely in for a good episode today. But starting out, we got the music recommendation as usual. Um, and today was a very easy pick for me. Definitely an album that I've really been listening to a lot lately. Is Dead as Dreams by Weakling. Got the cover art on the screen. It's a fantastic album. I would say definitely a depressive, suicidal black metal album, which sounds very alarming as a genre, I know, but just the music itself is very, very good. The emotion portrayed through it is definitely very apparent, and I really enjoy the guitar riffs and the blast beats and everything. Standout track for me is definitely the title track, "Dead as Dreams." I really love it. I think it goes really hard, and I really enjoy listening to it. But highly recommend giving it a listen. Unfortunately, you're gonna have a hard time finding it anywhere. It's not on Apple Music or Spotify or anything like that. Kind of a more underground album for sure. But if you can get your hands on it, it is a fantastic listen. Obviously, you can listen to it through YouTube. It's uploaded on there, so you shouldn't have too much trouble. But you're not going to be able to like stream it like on your typical streaming service unless you add it yourself. But with that out of the way, we're going to jump right into the discussions for the video. So the first topic that I have today is rude customers at work, which was something that came to mind. I specifically have one experience in particular that I can think of, and it definitely kind of inspired this whole segment here. But this happened, I would say, it's been maybe 3 weeks ago, a month ago, maybe. It's been a little bit. But pretty much, I was working one night, and I work at a Firehouse Subs. I mentioned that, I think, in the first episode. But I work at Firehouse Subs, and it's very common for us to get people with strange requests. I mean, we'll have people order the turkey bacon ranch, which is a pretty popular sandwich. We'll have people order that with no ranch or no bacon. Or they'll substitute the turkey for ham, or, it definitely, people like what they like, and I respect that. I'm definitely a very picky eater, as I mentioned in the first episode when it comes to subs, so I'm certainly no different, but it's just kind of funny seeing all the different combinations that people come up with. But this particular experience happened one night. I was closing, and it was after 8 o'clock, I believe. We close at 9 o'clock. And so it was after 8 o'clock. I think we're winding down for the night. We're starting to close and get everything sort of geared up for locking the door so we can leave. Which closing is a fairly simple process, but there's a lot of steps and they all have to get done. The majority of what I do when I'm closing is cleaning the line, so where we keep all of the meat steamers and the bar with all the toppings and everything in it. Just making sure that that stays clean is definitely like a big priority for my job in particular. But also involved is the lobby sweeping, mopping the floors, yeah, making sure all the boxes are broken down, pulling all the tea, and because being in the South, we have all the sweet tea, and so we pull all the tea, making sure all the cookies and everything are wrapped, make sure all the bacon and everything gets put away, everything's wiped down, and it's a pretty standard closing process for any sort of restaurant. But it was, I would probably say, maybe 45 minutes till close, so we were definitely kind of working on getting the restaurant closed. And this gentleman comes in who was a rather large, he was a larger guy, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. People are unique in their own way, and that's okay. But he was a larger guy, definitely had a interesting persona about him that was very apparent when he walked in. And he was wearing like I think he was a Uber Eats driver who had just gotten off of work, and he was coming to get some food. And so this gentleman pulls up, and he's right off the bat very assertive into the conversation with the cashier. He's putting things very I guess tactfully. He knows exactly what he wants. He's not being very kind, I guess, just kind of interrupting the cashier. So guy gets his order taken, and so he comes in, and unfortunately on this night, I was the only person on the line at the time. So I was the only person making sandwiches right now because everybody else was doing their, closing work, and I was running the line. And so this guy comes, and I remember his order. He ordered a double meat, large honey ham sandwich. Uh, and I don't think he got any cheese on it or anything. It was just honey ham and a double meat, which at Firehouse, large sandwiches are 8 ounces of meat. And so this guy literally got 16 ounces or a whole pound's worth of honey ham on one of his sandwiches. And then he ordered a second one the same exact way, except this was a double meat medium with 8 ounces of meat total. So this guy orders two honey ham sandwiches, totaling out to a pound and a half's worth of meat. And through the whole process of making this takes a little while to make, especially being these are double meats. There's a whole different process for this, especially with the large. You have to weigh the meats separately rather than together because it won't get heated up all the way if you put them together in there. And so it takes a little while to get this stuff going. And I'm putting the meat in the steamers, prepping everything. And right about the time his bread's coming out, and I'm setting up the bread for his ticket. He's like leering over me over the bar, kind of, and he's like making these very odd comments. He's like, "I smell that honey ham. It smells ready," even though like my steamer's still counting down, like the timer is still going down, like it's not done heating yet. But he's like, "I'm smelling it," and he's talking about how it smells good and how he knows it's ready. And this all culminates in, he's getting very impatient because, he comes in and orders this large ticket. I'm the only person on the line making it, and he's having to wait, which he's just not fond of. And, I understand I can be impatient too, but, like, dude was giving me no grace this night. And so he's leering over me, making these comments and everything, and it finally culminates in I get everything sort of set up, and he tells me that he wants a bowl of honey mustard. And that is a very odd request, one I've never received before or since this happened. But he wanted a whole, like, soup bowl of honey mustard. And I was telling him, I was like, I mean, I can give you one of these cups. And he's like, no. Like, that's why I come to Firehouse. They give me the bowl. And he's getting very upset because, I'm not immediately complying with his request to give him this bowl of honey mustard, which, for one, like, why do you need that much honey mustard? Like, a whole bowl. These bowls, like, is for, like, the chili and the soup and the mac and cheese. Like, these are big, containers to hold this stuff. I think it's like 10 ounces or something like that. So, you're holding a pretty decent amount of stuff in these bowls, and he's wanting them filled. He wants one filled to the brim with honey mustard, which, is expensive. That was something I didn't even know if I was, like, allowed to give him. So I asked my manager, and he's getting very upset. He's whispering under his breath and making all these kind of rude, snide comments about, the whole situation. And I'm asking my manager, I'm like, is it okay if I give him all this? And she just kind of looks at this dude who was very, perturbed and greasy and just not very kind in general. She looks at him and she's like, yeah, just give it to him. So I give him the honey mustard, and I have to go in the back and get the whole dressing, all the dressing out from the back, like out of the big container, because the bottle that we have on the line is not going to fill a whole bowl. And so I go back and get all of the dressing out of the refrigerator and start pouring it into the bowl, and he's like acting all victorious or whatever about it. So I just give him his food, and he walks out. I guess feeling all like his ego was stroked about, getting it over on me that he got his bowl of honey mustard. I'm just like, trying to close the restaurant and get out of there. But, he was a rather rude individual, that was definitely probably my rudest customer experience at any of my jobs. And I've worked a few food service jobs now, so that was definitely my most rude customer experience. I mean, in general, you have people who will give you attitude, or like if you mess up something on their order, they'll be upset about it and get all pissy with you and have an attitude. But I mean, that's kind of common, honestly, with the general public. And anybody who works in food service or with the general public will be able to tell you that's the case. But I guess it's just kind of different when you're experiencing it firsthand, like the brunt of it and having to receive it. And I guess like this all goes to say that be kind to those food service workers that are at the restaurants you're working at, because we're people too. Like we have feelings and stuff. We don't want to be leered over and bothered by your attitude. But in general, I mean, most of the people that I work or encounter while working are very nice and kind and are patient. So uh, you know, I guess for the people who aren't that way, you should try to be that way. I would recommend it. But anyway, that moves us on to my next topic, which is way different in nature. We're going to be talking about my history, like my musician history, I guess, and my history of playing instruments and whatnot. And so this has a very early beginning. When I was like 4 years old, I believe, my parents bought me my first drum set, which I immediately took an incredible liking to and taught myself how to play over many, many years. And that culminated in me getting a bigger drum set, and I bought, nice cymbals and everything for it. And it was a pretty decent budget kit. I mean, it was really hard to make it sound good, and I didn't really do a lot with it at first to make it sound good, but eventually I swapped out all the heads, and it sounded decent for what it was. It was like a $300 drum set, $400 drum set, just the shells. So, we're not talking high quality, especially in this time, bought from my local music store. But I got the drum set, and once I changed the heads on it and everything and did some tuning, it honestly sounded pretty decent. Like, it was a very uh, rough around the edges sort of sound. One that I would not be fond of today, probably. But then I was happy with it to be making some noise and everything. But I played drums for a very, very, very long time into the school band in middle school. I still remember the day I tested into percussion in fifth grade because I was going to be joining the school band the following year for sixth grade middle school. And the music director, a man who I remember fondly, his name is Mr. Travis Foster, and shout out to him if he ever watches this. But he was the music director at my school at the time for the middle school. And all through middle school, he was my band director, and he was definitely one of my favorite teachers that I had through school. But he came to my class, and I was very sick this day. In fact, I'm pretty sure I left early, like after this happened. This was at lunchtime, like or right around lunchtime, and I was feeling very sick. I had already gone to the nurse and was, I think, waiting on my mom to get ready and come pick me up to take me home or something like that. But Mr. Foster came and gave me the percussion test, and it was just like a few rudiments to play. I was like probably like flam taps and paradiddles and that kind of thing, and he would just show you something and you would mimic it back to him. And I remember I played everything that he played perfectly. Like I mimicked it back to him perfectly, and he was like, "Yeah, you're good, you're in." And so I joined battery percussion in sixth grade, and I did school band as a battery percussionist from sixth grade all the way to junior year. I want to say like sophomore year, second semester was my last semester of band, I'm pretty sure. But I did do band for a long time, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I highly encourage anybody who's watching this, who may be in high school, middle school, or high school and is interested in joining band, to definitely give it a go, because I met a lot of cool people through band, friends that people I still interact with today and met through band. I think you meet some really cool people. You have some very cool field trip opportunities. Here locally, we would go to the annual like testing where all the school bands from the local area would go, concert performance assessment. We would all go to like this high school, this big high school in the next town over, and we would go and play and get ranked and everything. And it was like a free day out of school, and you would get back like pretty much with like an hour or 2 hours left in the day, so there was really not much left to do. And so it was always really cool getting to go and do that. And I remember we went to a local theme park, like amusement park, and got to ride roller coasters and stuff, and it was really cool. So band has a lot of dope opportunities that I would highly encourage anybody to check out if they're interested in doing band. And you also get to learn a new instrument, which is dope. And I still would really love to learn how to play like a horn or something, like a saxophone. Definitely, I'm definitely more of a woodwind person with saxophone, but just to learn how to play that would be really cool. Also, strings. This is kind of on like a side note, but I love strings like the violin and the cello and all of that, like orchestral sort of side of music with the instruments kind of on the orchestral side. I love the strings. And I would love to learn how to play like a violin or something. So if anybody out there plays violin, I would love to learn a little bit about it. But I guess this is a good time to also say if you're enjoying the content today, liking the video, just drop a like. And if you're new here, subscribe. I would really appreciate it and love to grow the community here. I would just like to thank everybody who has continued to watch these and as I post them. And I record them in advance. So just seeing the outpour of like support, I guess, and the just the success off the bat that I'm kind of having doing this with the views and the likes and everything. I'm just very, very appreciative of of everything and all of that. Sorry, I jumbled my words, but I'm just very thankful for all of y'all who are continuing to watch these videos. But anyway, back to school or school band. I did that for a while, learned a lot of rudiments and stuff for percussion and drums and all of that, which was very, very helpful. It definitely helped develop my sense of rhythm and time and just being able to count better. School band definitely gives you a lot of improvements there. But as far as outside of that, about 5 or 6 years ago now, I want to say, I started learning guitar. I want to say it was like 5 years ago, maybe. Um, that sounds about right. But I started learning guitar, and my good friend at the time, his name was Dustin. Shout out to Dustin if he's watching this. Um, he bought like a Squire Stratocaster, which was his like first guitar, and he would bring it to my house because he would spend the night at my house pretty frequently, a few times a year, I guess. And he would bring it over and play, and we would just play and sit down and goof around with it. And that really got me into guitar and wanting to learn how to play, seeing him pick it up. And so I began my guitar journey then. I bought my parents, or my mom and my grandparents, I think, went up to a Sam Ash that's not crazy far away, and they bought me my first electric guitar, which was my first guitar in general. It was a white Jackson Dinky, JS22 Dinky. It was like a $200 guitar. It was a very nice starter guitar. Got me a little orange practice amp that I played with, and I recorded some very basic tracks back then. I might still be able to find them maybe, and if I do, I could definitely link them in the description or something like that, or post them like as a separate video if y'all would want to hear them. But they were very short. But I remember recording and posting a few tracks back in the day. I used like a blue snowball mic, and I would just record my amp and play these simple songs in one take and everything. But that's been a long time ago. But after that, I bought an acoustic guitar, an Ibanez acoustic guitar that I played for a very, very long time and then sold to another friend of mine who still uses it to this day and gets a lot of use out of it. And I'm very glad it got passed to a loving owner. But I played that Ibanez acoustic guitar for a long time, and I wrote a lot of music on that guitar, and I always write all of my music on acoustic guitar first. Even electric guitar riffs and stuff, I usually always write on the acoustic guitar. I just prefer playing it in a way, I guess. But now I have a Yamaha acoustic guitar. It's like I'll probably post a picture of it. It's like a model, like mid-range models, like $200 or $300 brand new. But I bought it used. I got it for like less than $100 used, and it's an exceptional guitar. I love how it sounds. It has a great tone. But yeah, I played guitar for 5 years now, and then let's see, I've played bass on and off for a long time. Once I picked up guitar, I kind of picked up bass a little bit as well, and so I can play both. And then just recently, I bought a banjo, probably 2 or 3 weeks ago now. I bought a banjo, and I really love picking around with it and messing with it. It's really fun. And the finger picks are definitely very different than what I'm used to because I'm so used to using like a plastic or like a Tortex pick that you hold, and the finger picks are definitely very different. But that leads me into the next topic here, which is very much connected to the guitar, whole the guitar thing. My grandfather actually has the best guitar I've ever played, my favorite guitar in the whole world. Um, it's a 1962 Gibson ES335, I believe. A beautiful tobacco sunburst top. If I have a picture of it, I will definitely post it in the video. But if not, um, I'll definitely make like maybe like a community post about it. But he has it, it is just a beautiful instrument, and it plays better than any other guitar I've ever played, new or used. And I've played a lot of guitars. I've owned a lot of different guitars, and I have a very nice guitar now. I have a Ibanez Zebra Wood RG guitar that I bought at Christmas last year, I want to say, and it is a phenomenal electric guitar. But that Gibson is simply better than everything else I've played and had the luxury of playing. And I definitely am very inspired to get a vintage guitar because of that instrument. I've been looking at the Greco, like the '70s, late '70s Greco Les Paul copies for a little while, but they're a little expensive for my taste right now. But I would definitely love to get one of those one day and try it out and compare it to the real deal. But that guitar is beautiful. It sounds really good plugged in. It's got the P90 pickups, so it's definitely a single coil kind of sound compared to what I'm used to with humbuckers, but it still gets a really good crunch tone, and the cleans are exceptional. It doesn't really handle like gain, like higher gain, really well at all. It has horrible harmonic, um, feedback, but it's a really good sound for crunchy and clean stuff, and I really love it. I haven't played it plugged in a very long time, but it has a few. It has two dead frets. The I believe it's the third and fourth fret, or the fourth and fifth fret on the like the B and the high E are dead. They don't like ring the note. It's just the dead fret kind of noise. But other than that, I mean, it's in really good shape. It has, its natural aging blemishes, but it's a beautiful instrument, and I am very, very fortunate to have been able to play it and have access to it. And so, shout out to my grandparents who are most definitely probably listening to this. I love y'all, and thanks for everything that y'all do for me. And I will most definitely want to come over sometime soon and eat some tasty food. They cook the best food ever, I swear. My grandparents are fantastic chefs. Both of them just kill it in the kitchen together. They are a killer duo, make some of the greatest entrees and desserts I have ever had the luxury of having, and I don't even have to pay for it. I am very fortunate to have that. But thanks to my grandparents for all that they have done for me in my life. And that actually leads into the last topic here of the video, which is golf, a sport that is very near and dear to my heart due to the many memories of playing it with my grandfather that I have. He plays golf at least once a week. He's got a few friends that he goes with out to the local golf course, and they go and play, and it's kind of competitive, and my grandfather has a really good time with it, and I think it's really cool. I think it's so badass, honestly. And yeah, I have a really badass grandfather who despite his age, he gets out and plays golf and does really cool stuff all the time, and it's very inspiring. And I am very thankful for him and my grandmother as well, who has been a big role model for me and has cared for me many, many, many years as a child. So very thankful for both of them. And golf is a sport that I'm honestly would not be too bad at if I practiced more. My grandfather actually got me golf lessons with one of his buddies out at the golf course. He's been going to that golf course for since literally forever, as long as I can remember. And I've been going golfing with him since I was like 4 years old, 4 or 5, maybe even younger than that. But I would go golfing with him out there, and we've always gone to that same course. But he got me golf lessons out there like 5, 6, 7 years ago, 8 years ago, maybe even. It's been a little while. But the golf lessons really helped out, and I was hitting some pretty good shots, and my stance definitely improved, and my just accuracy and power and everything just improved after these lessons. And so golf is definitely a sport that I have a lot of interest in even today, despite having not had a lot of time to play. Um, but I highly encourage anybody who's wanting to try a new sport to check out golf, especially if you've got a local golf course that y'all can go to. You can find some clubs at like Goodwill or like at a yard sale or something, and you'll be off to the races. And it's a lot of fun to work on and just go out there. I will say it can be an incredibly frustrating game. Like, just aggravating to the point of you're sweating bullets and like you're shooting fire out of your ears. But as long as you can keep a level head and just keep it in perspective, I think you would honestly have a pretty good time. And plus, it's really cool to just be out in nature. I'm definitely a nature person. I love to see what all nature has to offer, and I think the world is very beautiful. And so going out to the golf course is a good way to get out in nature as well as also have a really fun time too, I would say. And especially driving the golf carts, like I have a funny memory going out with my grandfather where we got stuck one time and I was leaning out of the golf cart and he put it in reverse and started backing, kind of like backing up to get us unstuck, and I fell out of the golf cart. It was really funny. But I have a lot of memories on the golf course or the golf course here in town that I'm very, very fortunate to have made, and I will definitely hold on to for the rest of my life. And so, golf is definitely a sport I would highly recommend checking out. I don't really keep up with like the PGA or anything like that, but my grandfather still does. He watches it on TV still, and he's very much into it, and it's very inspiring. And so, I wanted to share that with y'all. But that pretty much wraps up the rest of this episode here. I hope that you enjoyed the topics and the discussions that we got to have today. But I hope that this video finds you all in good health and in good standing in the world, and that y'all are happy with yourselves. And if not, I am encouraging all of y'all to, do the best that y'all can, and, strive to make yourselves happy and reach your goals, and, do what's best for y'all. But thank you all for listening. I'm Ben Collin, and this is A New Direction episode 4. Stay chill. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.